A hissing sound pierces the silence of the desert night. Under the oppressive heat of the sun, a lone rattlesnake coiled in the shade of a rock, its body still and lifeless to the casual observer. Days pass, weeks stretch by. But the rattlesnake does not stir, does not search for food, does not succumb to the suffocating hunger. Instead, it waits. Elsewhere, deep in the heart of the Amazon, a boa constrictor sprawls out in the damp underbrush, its vast body swollen with a recent meal. It won't eat again for months, yet its energy reserves are more than sufficient. In fact, the boa can survive without food for an astonishing stretch of time, months even. Across the world, in the icy vastness of the Arctic tundra, the garter snake lies hidden beneath layers of snow, dormant and motionless. It too will survive the harsh winter, not by feeding, but by tapping into a remarkable survival strategy. The ability to live for months without sustenance. How do they do it? Today we're diving into the world of these enigmatic creatures, snakes. These cold-blooded reptiles, often feared and misunderstood, possess an extraordinary survival secret. The ability to live without food for months, sometimes even longer. But how? What is the secret to their survival? And what does it tell us about the fundamental biology of life itself? Beneath the scales of every snake lies a remarkable and often misunderstood survival mechanism. While many creatures struggle with the absence of food, snakes have evolved to not just endure hunger, but to thrive in the most extreme periods of fasting. This is not merely a matter of willpower or resilience. It's a matter of biology. The secret lies in their metabolism. Unlike mammals, which maintain a constant body temperature and require energy frequently, snakes are ectotherms, meaning their body temperature depends on the environment around them. This fundamental difference gives them an extraordinary advantage when food is scarce. At the core of this advantage is the snake's ability to slow down its metabolism when necessary. After a large meal, a snake's body goes into a state of dormancy. During this period, its metabolic rate drops significantly, allowing it to function on the energy stored in its fat reserves. This metabolic slowdown is vital for survival in environments where food may not be available for months. In the case of the rattlesnake, after consuming a meal, its metabolic rate can slow down to a mere fraction of what it would be during active hunting periods. The energy it gains from a single meal can keep it alive for weeks, even months, depending on the size of the prey and the ambient temperature. It's a long-term investment in energy, with the snake relying on its fat stores to keep vital processes running. But it's not just about reducing the energy spent on daily activities. When a snake enters a fasting period, its digestive system essentially shuts down. The snake's stomach slows its functions, and it becomes highly efficient in its use of the energy from its last meal. For instance, a python that has just consumed a large meal, such as a deer or an antelope, can go months without needing to eat again. The digestive process itself can take weeks, and once the meal has been fully processed, the snake's energy stores are more than sufficient to keep it alive for the long duration of its fast. This metabolic slowdown isn't without its challenges. For example, the larger the snake, the longer it needs to digest its food, and the longer it needs to fast afterward. While the larger snakes can survive for months, they are also more vulnerable to environmental threats. Still, this ability to function without regular food intake is a feat that few other animals can match. Across species, the general principle holds: the less active a snake is, the less food it needs. This principle can be seen in many species of snake, like the boa constrictor, which often survives long periods without eating, despite being a relatively large predator. Their bodies can maintain vital functions with astonishing efficiency, making them masters of conservation in an unforgiving world. Across the planet, snakes face an array of hostile environments where food is not always readily available. In these extreme conditions, their ability to survive without food is nothing short of essential. But the path to survival is not the same for all snakes. Each environment has shaped the snake's behavior, physiology, and strategies for coping with scarcity. Consider the Sahara Desert, one of the driest places on Earth. Here, the sand viper, a small but fierce predator, must endure temperatures that soar to unbearable heights during the day and plummet to freezing cold at night. In this hostile environment, food sources are sporadic. The sand viper has developed a cunning strategy of ambush predation, relying on the occasional meal to sustain it for weeks or even months. This snake's survival relies on its ability to store energy effectively. In the harsh desert, where food and water are scarce, the sand viper hunts only when necessary. The meals it consumes are often irregular, but once ingested, it enters a dormant state, lowering its body temperature to conserve energy. The snake can survive long stretches of time without food, its energy reserves holding it over until the next meal. In stark contrast, the polar regions provide an entirely different set of challenges. The garter snake of the Arctic has evolved to withstand extreme cold, hibernating through the frigid months without food. Here, the snake's fasting isn't a temporary state, but a seasonal survival strategy. During winter, the garter snake becomes completely dormant, its metabolism almost non-existent. The stored fat from the warm summer months is all it needs to make it through the bitter cold. For these snakes, survival isn't just about fasting, it's about timing. By relying on fat reserves, they conserve energy during the months when food is simply unavailable. They enter a deep hibernation state, allowing their bodies to rest, recuperate, and emerge in spring ready to hunt again. While the sand viper's strategy hinges on opportunistic hunting and conservation of energy, the Arctic garter snake's approach is a full shutdown, waiting out the months when conditions are inhospitable. Both strategies demonstrate the remarkable adaptability of snakes to their environments, whether it's the scorching heat of the desert or the biting cold of the polar north. Despite their extraordinary ability to survive without food, fasting is not without its costs. A snake's survival during long periods of fasting comes with trade-offs: physiological strain, a reduction in overall fitness, and sometimes even a temporary drop in reproductive success. For example, after a large meal, a python may spend several months without food. During this period, it focuses all its energy on conserving and utilizing its fat stores. But while the snake is not actively hunting, it is also not expending much energy on movement or reproduction. The body enters a state of stasis, surviving, yes, but at a cost. This period of fasting is also a period of vulnerability. Without regular food intake, a snake's body weakens. The snake becomes less agile, and its ability to catch prey in the future may be compromised. The energy spent on recovery after a long fast can be significant, and while the snake can survive, it may not be in its prime condition. For many snakes, this means waiting for the right conditions, optimal temperatures, the right prey species, and an environment that supports hunting. The process of digestion, which can take weeks for a snake that consumes a large meal, also places tremendous stress on the body. During this time, snakes are not in a true fasting state, but are actively processing and absorbing the nutrients from their meal. The duration of this digestion period depends on factors like temperature, meal size, and species. For a python, this process could take weeks, during which it will not need to hunt again, but its body will be fully occupied with digestion. However, once the digestion process is complete, the snake enters the full fasting phase. The real test begins here, as the snake's energy reserves are all that sustains it. It can survive for months, but it must remain stationary and patient, waiting for the next opportunity to eat. The ability to survive without food for extended periods didn't emerge overnight. It was honed over millennia of evolutionary pressures. Snakes evolved to withstand scarcity, especially in environments where food sources are unpredictable. The ancient ancestors of modern snakes were likely more frequent feeders, but as they adapted to their surroundings, they learned to conserve and make use of every resource available. Over time, those snakes that could survive longer without food had a better chance of reproducing and passing on this trait to their offspring. The survival of the fittest, in this case, meant that those who could store fat efficiently and slow down their metabolism were more likely to thrive in environments where food came in bursts. In some cases, the evolution of fasting strategies is tied to specific environmental pressures. In arid environments like deserts, snakes that could endure extended periods without food were better equipped to survive. Those that lived in the Arctic were forced to adapt to long winters with no food, resulting in behaviors like hibernation. These strategies became ingrained in their genetics, passed down through generations of evolution. Even today, the remnants of this ancient adaptation can be seen in snakes all over the world. Whether it's the massive reticulated python that can survive for months without eating, or the smaller desert-dwelling vipers, all of these species share a deep evolutionary link. Their survival strategy revolves around a remarkable ability to go without food when the situation demands it. Despite years of study, there is still much that scientists do not fully understand about how snakes manage to survive for months without food. While we know that snakes are capable of entering metabolic stasis and using stored fat reserves, the exact mechanisms behind their survival are still shrouded in mystery. For example, researchers have yet to fully understand the limits of a snake's ability to slow down its metabolism. How low can it go before it ceases to function? And what happens on the cellular level during extended fasting? Scientists are still working to answer these questions, and the complexity of snake biology means that there are many unknowns. There are also gaps in our knowledge about how fasting affects snake reproduction. Does long-term fasting impact the snake's ability to reproduce? If a snake goes without food for too long, will it be able to mate successfully when it emerges from its fast? These questions remain unanswered, and only time and further research will tell us more. In the meantime, what we do know is extraordinary. Snakes, through evolutionary cunning and biological innovation, have mastered the art of surviving without food. They are living proof of the adaptability and resilience of life in even the harshest conditions. As we continue to study these remarkable creatures, we are reminded of the complexity of life on Earth and the vast unknowns still waiting to be discovered.